Hi there, and welcome back. Today I've got a bit of a shorter video today because I don't really feel like wasting your time. This is a pretty short topic, and we're going to be talking a little bit about another really ridiculous wireless redstone concept that I'm going to call shulker stone. Because, well, it uses shulkers. So in case you missed that, what I essentially did was I pushed a button on that shulker pylon over there, and I communicated to all these other shulker pylons to fire their fireworks into the air. Now, the reason why this is possible is because of a mechanic that we're going to be talking a little bit about today. It's called group aggression, or at least that's what I've heard people call it. And specifically with shulkers, it's basically when the shulker gets pissed at something, for example this snow golem here, and it's going to tell all the other shulkers in the area to also get pissed at it, even if there is an impassable obstruction between the two. So what does this mean? Number one, the fact that shulkers can't ever take a clean 1v1 is just more fire to my argument that they're objectively evil. But number two, we could do something with this, because what I like to do most on this channel is take stupid mechanics and exploit them to do even stupider things. And this is definitely going to be one of the stupidest things of all, because what we've got is essentially an unreliable method of sending signals through impassable barriers wirelessly over what is pretty much exactly the same distance as a calibrated skulk sensor, incredibly expensively. Completely useless, as always. But who cares if it's useless? It's funny, so let's talk about it. Basically, this is the basic pylon. It looks pretty complicated because we've got a bunch of random, seemingly garbage resources everywhere, like enchanting tables and cobwebs, but I promise it'll make sense in a moment. The first thing we've got here is the tripwire. This essentially tells us if this shulker is angry because it opens all the way. The main reason that might be happening is because this shulker is getting pissed at another snow golem at another pylon, which happens right here. What immediately follows that, if this shulker gets angry because another pylon triggered, is it's going to hit this tripwire, which is going to push this snow golem upwards such that it can start throwing snowballs at the shulker. This is going to make all the other shulkers around it get angry via group aggression, activating those pylons and continuing the cycle. The lava here is just to prevent the shulker bullets from flying downwards and hitting the snow golem, and the cobweb is just to keep it suspended up there a little bit so it has time to shoot the snow golem before getting covered by the enchanting table so it can't just keep throwing snowballs forever. We obviously can't allow the snow golem to keep shooting snowballs because then it would basically mean that the network will always be active and we'll never be able to turn it off. Now, what's super cool is that the mechanic of the snow golem sliding up and down also solves a completely different problem, but to understand that, you need to understand a little bit about how this nonsense regarding group aggression works. So let me give you a quick crash course. First things first, the purple square. Basically, if the shulker is right here, this purple square dictates which shulkers it can communicate to be group aggroed. Anything in this square can be told by the shulker in the center to be angry at something. The reason this is relevant is because it basically just says this is the maximum distance we can put a pylon from another pylon. Now on the other hand, we have this circle/sphere thing in red. This is essentially the radius in which things can stay angry at the snow golem. So it's only in stuff within the cube and the sphere that can both be triggered by the shulker and also stay angry at the thing that the shulker is trying to be angry at. Now, what's super important about the red circle sphere is that since it's a sphere, it actually drags off a little bit as you go up and down, meaning that if we drop the snow golem downwards and we have a shulker here, for example, and the snow golem drops, then it will actually leave the radius and the shulker will stop being angry at the snow golem, which is super important because otherwise they're just perpetually pissed off at the snow golem and it renders the network unreusable. In actual application, when this snow golem flies upwards and gets pissed at this shulker for a brief moment, it starts to enter the circle in which this shulker can be pissed at this snow golem, but then quickly drops out of the way. So it's only pissed for just long enough to get angry at this snow golem because of the tripwire, which communicates and essentially you get this ripple effect. Now unfortunately this shutoff mechanism isn't the most reliable, because if I go ahead and turn this on and then tick warp a bunch, You're going to notice that these are going to go off a little bit extra, and that's just because the system is kind of feedback looping a little bit, but generally it stops itself after a bit. I am quite unhappy to report that this wasn't always the case. Here's an earlier model, and you can certainly see how this one is just a little bit more flawed. And that's basic shulker telecommunications for you. It's highly unreliable, incredibly slow, very expensive, and incredibly short-ranged, making it a perfect choice for your Minecraft 5G network. Oh, and by the way, this is the kind of stuff that I make, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see more like it. We're pretty much at 50,000. Actually, that's not true. We're at 36,000. But if you round up to 40,000 and then make a few mistakes, then you almost get 50,000. So we're basically almost at 50,000. So make sure to subscribe. Also check out the Discord server. It's a fun place. And with that, I think I'll see you next time. Bye bye.